Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sierra Sasha channel and welcome to a new video. So we all know what month it is. It's Black History Month. I got my People of Color shirt on. Today I wanted to talk about a couple of books written by Black authors that feature Black main characters that I have loved in light of Black History Month. All of these books I have read in the past and I have either written a review on my blog or on Goodreads of some kind, so I will link all of my reviews to these books below. Some of these I have talked about a couple times here on the channel, so I apologize if I sound like a broken record, but it's just to emphasize how much I enjoyed these books or the conversations that they pose. And without further ado, let's begin. All right, we're gonna start it off with my favorite book that I ended 2021 with, and that is Black Girl Unlimited by Echo Brown. I have talked about this book on the channel before. I absolutely adored this book. Black Girl Unlimited is an autobiblical, magical realism, young adult fantasy book that follows Echo Brown, a girl that is growing up on the east side of Cleveland, Ohio, and there is a lot going on in Echo's life. She is surrounded by parents that are addicted to drugs. She's surrounded by gang violence, sexual violence, depression, just a lot of negative forces in her life. This book follows her from when she was a child up until her first day of university. What I loved most about this book is that it follows Echo through all of these hardships and really just paints a holistic picture of her life, and also does so in a way that incorporates magic into the story. I talked about this in my review, my full written review on my blog for this book, but Echo Brown, the author, is very skilled. It's very methodical in how she weaves the concept of magic and miracles, because Echo and people around her are wizards, into the story of her life. It's so methodical, so thought out, so like well crafted. I enjoyed every second of this book, and obviously it's very heavy, so this is a very trigger warning, content warning type of book, but it also just has so many powerful moments and lessons and quotes, and I actually highlighted this book up and made notes all over it. It's gonna be one of those books that I keep with me forever because it genuinely moved me. The best way I can describe this book is that it's simply about a story of a Black girl overcoming a bunch of odds, and it was just great all the way through. I highly recommend it. The next book that I want to highlight for Black History Month is Raybearer by Jordan Ifuko. This was actually my first book that I think I've ever read with a Black girl main character in such a high fantasy young adult book. It was great. I enjoyed it. I got this book by participating in the Hear Our Voices blog tour. Raybearer follows our main character Tari Sai, and the world is a little bit complicated, but it is inspired by West African mythology. It's a high fantasy book. It occurs in the world of Artsar, and Artsar is composed of 12 different distinct lands of people. All these people and all these lands have, like, you know, distinct ecosystems, like landscapes, cultural norms, traditions. They have different valuable tradable goods, so it's a really cool book that explores different worlds, and I love that. That's one of my favorite tropes in books. Tarzai is sent to the capital where there is a crown prince, and the crown prince is in charge of electing a council of 11 other peers. And basically, Tarzai's mother, who is this like weird kind of elusive lady, her name is literally the lady, but she's like her mother, Tarzai's mother figure. The lady sends Tarzai to the capital in order to compete with other children from different lands to try to become part of the crown prince's council. But the twist is that the lady has enchanted Tarzai with this magical wish that if Tarzai gets onto the council, she must kill the prince. If she is elected, council members are bonded by a bond that runs deeper than blood. They can telepathically communicate and things like that. So it's a really, really close family, which Tarzai has always longed for since her mother is kind of in and out, very elusive, not really like motherly or nurturing. So she really wants to be a part of this family that is the council, but she has to kill her mother has made this like enchantment that she has to kill the prince if she is elected. So this book really comes down to exploring the question of if she'll get elected to the council and if she'll be able to break this curse. It's been a while since I read the first book, and I read it on my Kindle, but I do have the sequel, Redemptor, here in hardback. This one actually is autographed too. I got this at Powell's in Portland, Oregon. So yeah, I'm super excited to finally pick up and read this book eventually. It's going to happen. I'm going to continue with this story, and I'm just excited to continue to explore Tarzai's world and see where it goes from there. The next book is a book that I read a little while ago, but I really did enjoy parts of it. It is One of the Good Ones. This is a sister collaboration book. It's written by Micah and Maritza Molite. This book follows the murder of a Black teen activist. Her name is Kezi Smith. Kezi is a big YouTube star. She gained a following online talking about Black rights, Black activism, and things like that. She attends a social justice rally where she is detained by police and pronounced dead in custody. So I'm mentioning this book even though I had mixed feelings about it. This book definitely has a mystery/thriller element that I think it 100% didn't need. I think the story would have been way better off without this weird plot twist that happens at the end, but I digress. The part of this book that I really did enjoy though is that it explores this conversation about a Black person having to be good or worthy to not die in police custody or at the hands of any kind of violence. It explores this concept of kind of like modern day respectability politics, or like a model minority kind of situation where it's like when Black people die at the hands of police or other kinds of violence, it's like, oh, they were so good, like, oh, they were like outstanding, they were in college, they were successful, and like it's like people use that as a justification as to why these like Black victims didn't deserve to die, when in reality the question should be, shouldn't they just be worthy of living just because they're a human being? And that's kind of like what the tagline of this book is. The tagline on the cover of this book says, "Isn't being human good enough?" And so that's kind of the really interesting conversation that this book poses, and I really did enjoy that aspect of it. So that's why I think this book is really valuable for a Black History Month read if you're looking for one. Again, it had this weird mystery thriller twist situation that happens at the end that I like rolled my eyes at. But nevertheless, I did still enjoy it, and I still do recommend it for exploring those kind of critical conversations. And the last book that I want to talk to you all about today is Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. This is by Joya Goffney, and I actually just finished reading this book. It's a light-hearted Black romance story. It has these enemies to lovers tropes, like a good girl, bad guy kind of trope, and it was just kind of fun to read. Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry follows Quinn, our main character. She's a Black girl that has a journal that she religiously keeps, and in her journal she writes everything from modern to-do lists to things that I would never want anybody to know kind of lists. The point is that Quinn's journal is for Quinn's eyes and her eyes only until a blackmailer gets a hold of her journal somehow and starts blackmailing and posting her secrets on Instagram for the entire high school to see. Blackmailers text Quinn and say that they will continue to post her deepest, darkest secrets unless she does things on this one particular list that she has, which ranges from confess your feelings to your crush to admit to your parents that you forged your college acceptance letter. So obviously there's some high school kind of petty drama element to this book that was fun to read, just like an escapism for me. But this book does pose some important conversations. It explores Black love in the face of internalized racism, prejudiceness, and things like that. Quinn is a dark-skinned Black girl that has historically only really had white friends and doesn't really associate with other Black girls all that often. And she finds herself getting mixed up with the main male character of this book, who is also a dark-skinned Black boy. And she's like, I don't date dark-skinned Black boys because they're trouble. They have that kind of mentality, and that's some kind of sense of internalized racism going on within Quinn that she gets to explore as she interacts with our other main character. It was really cool to see Quinn kind of dismantle these narratives in real time in her head, and as she's interacting with other Black characters for largely the first time in her life, like as her peers. Her family, her Black parents are very wealthy and successful, which also kind of alienates her as far as like class standing and things like that. So there's just a lot going on that Quinn has to confront for the first time, and it's kind of cool to see her like really think through it and be like, oh, I've always thought this, but that's not actually true. It also explores this very annoying universal experience of like Black adolescents everywhere, where people kind of call into question your Blackness. So Quinn has, like I said, primarily white friends before the events that happen with the blackmailer and her list, and so she had white friends that would always be like, Quinn, you're such an Oreo, or Quinn, like, you're basically white, or you're white on the inside. All that kind of like obnoxiousness that kind of erases your Blackness because you are not what the schema of a Black person is like. It's very stupid, and Quinn gets to also examine that kind of behavior from white people and how it's kind of like a microaggression, honestly, and an erasure of her Blackness and some internal or like some very implicit racism. So there's just a lot of different conversations that this book encapsulates, and I really enjoyed it. I just think it was a fun black teen romance on top of some pretty important conversations as well. Somehow I forgot to hold it up even though I had it and it was just on my desk at the beginning. So this is our two main characters. This is Quinn and this is Carter. So there you have it. Those are 4 books that I have really enjoyed by black authors featuring black main characters. So if you're looking to support black authors during Black History Month and read more black fiction, young adult fiction, fantasy, romance, here are some picks that I have enjoyed. And again, if I have written a review for any of these books, I will link it in the description below if you want to know more of my thoughts. I'm actually going to be reviewing Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry on the blog this coming Wednesday, so I will link that when it is done as well. If you have read any of these books, comment below. If you have read other black books that feature black characters that you enjoy that I didn't talk about today, also leave those below. I'm always trying to read more. Happy Black History Month. Continue to support black authors. I love y'all, and I will see you on the channel next Sunday. Bye everyone.